open up the meeting.
Okay, then let's call this meeting to order. Liz, do you have the roll call that you need? You've got everybody. Can't hear you.
Liz, you're muted.
Liz, you're still muted.
Now,
Okay, great.
I will write them down as I see them coming on.
Okay, great. All right, then. I have no comments, but welcome everyone. Hope this has been a slightly better month for you. It's been an interesting year. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the meetings of June 26th and July 15th.
We don't have any
We
available
don't have
yet.
those. Okay, then. All right, never mind. Do we have any public comments, Leroy?
Great question, Commissioner. If you will, for our attendees, raise your hand for public comment. Looks like at this time we have one public comment, one hand raised, Commissioner Olga Bulf.
Okay.
Olga, I'm going to allow you to talk. You're going to need to unmute yourself. There you go. You should be good to go. Olga?
Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you for the opportunity to address you today. We're sharing some information about the elite event funding applicant Localtopia as we seek to be allowed to proceed in the process to receive funding for 2021. Localtopia is the largest community celebration of all things local in our area, showcasing over 250 of St. Pete's favorite independent businesses and community organizations. The festival has become one of St. Pete's most beloved and eagerly anticipated annual events. 2021 will be our 8th year. It is unlike any other event held in the city as it congregates and showcases the best of and what is uniquely St. Pete, all in one place: shopping, eating and drinking, arts and culture, nonprofits, local musicians. It has been declared the event of the year. Many have called it the best event ever in St. Pete, and it has been referred to as the most St. Pete-esque event a visitor or resident can attend. Localtopia 2020 was featured by the American Automobile Association in its AAA Living magazine, and that was alongside the Daytona 500 and the Coconut Grove Arts Festival as one of the due dates in Florida for February. Only 6 events were included. It was also in Allegiant Sunseeker in-flight magazine as one of the 4 events featured for February-March. This year's festival, which took place on February 22nd, was our largest to date with over 30,000 attendees and an expanded footprint, which included our city's first park, Williams Park, plus several city blocks in the heart of our downtown. It was deemed to be our best ever by both vendors and attendees. Localtopia 2020 was awarded elite event funding under the new Category 4, not based on room nights. We received fantastic feedback from the SPC, which participated at the event and also reported great engagement. According to the economic impact study prepared by Destination Analysts, Localtopia had a total economic impact of $3.6 million. This figure only reflects spending by attendees who reside outside Pinellas County. If we were to include spending by our local residents, the figure would be near 6 million. It's important to note that the festival was one of the last large events to take place before our world was forever changed by COVID-19. The majority of the 250 plus participating vendors had their best ever sales day at this year's festival, including some that have been in business for over 10 years. Many of the brick and mortar businesses located nearest to where the event is held also reported high sales that day. Because of Localtopia, many of St. Pete's favorite businesses have been able to survive COVID-19 and have stayed in business. Their sales at the event provided the needed cushion, especially since many did not receive any assistance or grants. If we do not receive the elite event funding, we will not be able to put on next year's festival. Considering the detrimental impact of COVID-19, we have already lost several of this year's sponsors. It would not just be devastating to our organization if we are unable to put on the event, it would deprive over 200 of our city's favorite businesses the opportunity to recoup some of their losses this year. Once again, thank you for your time, and we do so hope you'll allow us to proceed in the process to receive this critical funding.
Okay, thank you. All right, do we have any other public comment?
Again, for the attendees, if you would like to make any public comment, please use the raise hand function. Also, Commissioner, just an FYI, in the last couple minutes, the full board that we were expecting to attend has arrived.
Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Okay,
You're unmuted.
I do not see any public comments at this time anymore.
okay, great. Well, next item on the agenda is Finance Committee. Who's doing
Uh,
it?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And TDC members, we had a Finance Committee meeting prior to this meeting here. So I think there were a lot of folks that were on that call. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see if I do it correctly this time versus kicking myself out of the meeting. On that, I'll show you the document, the financial document, and just run through it very quickly. And if I could have Jim, I don't know if Jim's on or not, the revenue side, and then I'll go through and cover the expense side. And all right, so let's try this here. Share. Okay. All right, let's try it again. There we go. All right, everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I did not see if Jim was back on yet or not. What I want to do is run through the expense side very quickly.
Steve, I am back.
Okay, great. Jim, I just want to see if you could do run through very quickly where we are revenue-wise for the full TDC. I know we had a healthy discussion during the Finance Committee meeting, but I think it'll just bring everybody else up to speed where we're at.
Okay. The report that you're looking at is the collections through the end of July, and what that means is through the month of May, as far as what the hotels collected. So in May, they collected $2.3 million in revenue, and that is below where we would have projected for in a normal year, but it was higher than what we had projected when we re-looked at our numbers back in March-April timeframe. The most current month that we collected for was through the month of June, and we collected $4.3 million in June. That is significantly better than what we had projected. We had projected originally about $1.4 million for the month of June. So as you can, obviously that's much better than we anticipated. In total, we've collected $38.3 million. To compare that to where we would be in a normal circumstance, we would have collected $47.9 million. So we're well below budget. We're $9.7 million below budget. That's, and the budget for the year was $61.4 million. So we're doing better than what we are, our updated projections, but we're doing worse than our projections that we had in the budget from a year ago.
Okay.
Great.
Madam Chair, may I ask Jim a revenue question?
Certainly.
Jim, right now, you said you're about $10 million short of budgeted 2020 fiscal year revenues. Do you anticipate that 10 million to carry forward? So when we end up at the end of the fiscal year, we will be about 10 million short, or do you think that'll continue to erode?
Well, it's going to continue to erode if we stand with our current projections. And when I presented the budget when we presented the budget to you back in June, we were looking at an FY 20 estimate of $37.5 million. And I have since updated that because through June, we've already collected 38 million. So the new estimate that I have that will be presented to the as part of the budget to the BCC next month is $42.4 million in projected revenue. And what that means is, let me pull that up, is about $19 million below budget. So right now we're at about 9 million. So I anticipate another $9 million in erosion from the budget. Like I said, that's better than what we thought we were going to be just a few months ago, but it's still almost $19 million less revenue than what we had budgeted for the year. That being said, we've used the new number, not the current number, but the much lower number of $37 million. We used that when we projected the FY21 budget and when we set that up. So anything that we collect above the $37 million will only help us in our beginning fund balance, which translates into at this point reserves for FY21.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Great. Let me just move to the expense side. Again, our expenses are in 3 different areas: personnel, operating, and then promotional expense. In the personnel, let me go back. So here we are 10 months into the fiscal year, our expenses. So if you divided that out by 12 months, you'd be roughly about 83% of your budget. As you can see, we're below budget in personnel. Again, I think as we explained during the budget process, there were positions, we were budgeted at filling every position. Those positions that were not filled by the time pandemic hit, we froze those. And then if we've had any positions come open since then, we have not chosen to fill those as well. So personnel expenses were at 67% of our budget for as of the July 30th. Under operating, again, we're at 63%. There are a couple of things I just wanted to point out here where you had, like in the case of travel, you also had in the case of training and education. Those are very directly related to staff not traveling because of the pandemic. And so again, those were savings that we utilized to cut. Well, I mean, they didn't cut, they just didn't happen. As an example, IPW as a whole trade show never happened. So again, you have the savings there. And we use that to go through and reduce our expenses for this year, knowing that we had less revenue to work with. In an area that we were over, in the case of association and memberships, in this case, we were, the dollar amount here is related to U.S. travel, and we actually moved that up from promotional up into this category here. In addition, I know it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but again, PC purchases, it's up more. And again, related to making sure staff has equipment to work with as we've worked remotely. And then the large increase here related to, it's not credit card fees. This would be for vacancy advertisements, and this is primarily for Searchwide, who did the search for the county for the president and CEO position. So again, you can see where we are in terms of our budget to expense in operations. And then in promotional expense, we're roughly at 43% of our budget. Again, looking at some of the biggest hits into direct sales. as well, and that is the biggest expense there. And that is because trade shows did not happen. Right now we have staff that have been going through and doing some trade shows, but everything's now virtual. Now there's a couple coming up in next fiscal year that we will actually be able, or we're hoping that will continue to be attending in person. But again, these were savings that we identified to help offset the lower drop in revenue. You can see both on the digital and on the advertising and the marketing. In both of those cases, we do have money that is out in the market in terms of advertising in both of these areas. But again, you looked at almost a month and a half where a complete pause, which also affected our inquiry services. Excuse me. And then under elite events, while there was dollars expended for that, there was most of that took place in the first 5 months of the year. Most everything after March canceled and continues to cancel. And so those dollars, again, identified early on that would be a savings to apply to that decrease in revenue. And then one area that I did want to point out, I think was important under our working with the various chambers of commerce, that one we have kept those dollars at the full amount. In fact, we're at 93 or 90% of our expense. So overall promotional expense roughly at 43%. So we discussed that with the full TDC. And again, our intent is to continue to showcase not only with those members, but also with you as the full TDC, so you know kind of what's happening out there. That's the report from the subcommittee.
All right. Any questions? Okay. Okay. Well, next up we have elite event funding for FY21. So who's going to do that?
I'll handle that, Commissioner. Good morning, everyone. You have in your packet, and I believe Leroy can throw it up on the screen here, the sporting summary from the August 7th review committee meeting. And by the way, congratulations to Commissioner Gerard, an unofficial record for the fastest review committee held. And I believe it was 1 hour and 45 minutes. Wow. The committee reviewed the applications that you see there and had the scoring averages there in the second to the last right-hand column there. And then you see the funding amounts. Since the meeting, we've had one fall-off event has canceled, which is Enchant at the bottom. And so, Leroy, if you could scroll just to the very bottom there, you'll see the running total there on, yeah, Leroy, you may have the old one here. So we have just below $1 million of funding in the aggregate. Localtopia did not receive an average score of 700, and the St. Pete Run Fest and Martin Luther King Cultural and Arts Festival were not scored due to ineligibility on the face of the applications. So, Madam Chair, at this time for full TDC consideration, then obviously we would ask for a vote going forward to make a recommendation of funding that would be advanced to the Board of County Commissioners.
Yes, Mayor Kennedy.
I was just going to make a motion to approve the elite funding.
Commissioner Mayor Kreisman has raised his hand.
Okay. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and my apologies. I jumped on the call a couple minutes late, so I was on just as Olga was completing her comment, so I wasn't sure what the process was related to this going forward, and with the fact that Localtopia at this point does not meet the threshold, and I wanted to just at least weigh in from the city's perspective of the impact that this event has on the city of St. Petersburg, has on the county, and has on our local business community. And I know she spoke a little bit to that, And I don't know what the process is, and you all can enlighten me whether there is any opportunity for a change other than my voting no on this, the list of funding. But if this event doesn't happen, I mean, there are literally thousands of people. This event has grown to the point where it's overflowed into the street on multiple sides, and it's actually even outgrowing that. And we've started having conversations with them about the possibility of their having to move to another location because they've outgrown it. In this time of the pandemic, where all of our small businesses are struggling and are mightily to survive, this is an event that features and focuses on our small businesses. And if this event doesn't happen, there's a whole lot of businesses that otherwise oftentimes have some of their highest sales days on record over the period of Localtopia that won't get to experience that at all. So I don't know what the process is, Madam Chair, but I wanted to make sure that at least my comments were heard. I think this is it's a huge miss if we don't fund the $25,000 for this event that we have funded in the past.
I don't know what the process is either. So maybe Tim, you can explain what happens if.
Yeah, I'll just set the stage, and Michael, if you could weigh in. But we've not had this in the past where, well, we actually have had in the past where somebody has appealed to the full TDC for consideration. So I don't think anything in the guidelines prohibit the making of a motion to include an event that didn't receive the average score of 700 or more. But Michael, please weigh in on that.
Yeah, I would agree. Tim, good morning, everyone. I would suggest that if the consensus of the full TDC is to recommend that Localtopia be considered for funding by the BCC in the up to amount of $25,000, that include the waiver of the fact that they didn't achieve the 700 by the committee. And then that can be discussed in the staff report to the BCC based on the recommendation from this full group now.
So I'll make that motion then if
Well, wait a minute,
can.
we have a motion on the floor to approve that. Mayor Kennedy, can you maybe withdraw your motion for the moment while we resolve this?
Yes, I'll withdraw my motion.
All right,
Commissioner, this is Mayor Hibbert. I also have a question.
okay, go ahead.
This is probably for Michael. I don't think it's a conflict, but I am a member of the Pelican Golf Course, and I just want to make sure that that's not considered a conflict in voting for this.
Typically,
for the LPGA Championship.
yes, Mayor. Sorry. Typically, just as a member, it's usually not a conflict. It's when you're on the board or a higher kind of participation in the organization that could present an ethical conflict. It should be.
I'd just rather disclose it than have a
No, I
question.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bujalski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When we met as a subcommittee, there had been some discussion about this event. I don't know if it was Tim or someone else. Can you all just restate what was said at the subcommittee meeting about this event? What issues were there?
In particular on the Pelican event?
No. On the Localtopia.
Oh.
Because it's a cultural event, right? So it's not leaning towards the hotel night thing.
No. Hotel room nights are not a requirement in that category, okay. Correct.
But there was a discussion, I think. I mean, can someone tell us about the event and tell us what the concerns were with it?
I honestly think that's a matter of how you all scored. There wasn't anything on the face of the application that was identified as a problem. So it's just a matter of how you all on the committee scored the event.
Correct.
Okay.
And we don't have a category.
It's category 4, which is the cultural arts, which requires attendance, but no room night minimums. And
so let me ask a question. I'm going to really try to throw a wrench into this because, I understand we've got some pretty clear rules and regulations in regards to the events when folks applied for them. But I also understand what Mayor Kreisman is saying. So because we're in this unique situation, this kind of 100-year event, if you will, is a pandemic, and we've got, you know, businesses suffering, and a lot of organizations are trying to put on those events that support local business. I'm wondering if there is a temporary new category we could add for those types of applications without, you know, causing too much of a ruckus, because clearly it's not just Localtopia that is supporting local businesses. I can think of several events in my city that would want to apply for such a thing. So I'm just trying to think, you know, broadly in Pinellas County, that if given we're not spending as much money, you know, as we would have in this budget, and our revenues are down, would it be an appropriate thing for us to do with bed tax money to support these events that are supporting local businesses for a short period of time? And I don't know who might answer that. I think there's a philosophical answer and then there's a legal answer.
Right, Doreen?
Do you know where I'm going? Because I'm trying to
Yes.
give everybody a fair shot.
Yes.
I have a question, not having been a member of the event subcommittee and appreciate all the efforts that those.
Can I just get an answer to my question first? Real quick.
Okay, well, I was kind of segueing into that along the line of, are there other events that possibly didn't qualify, that are we creating a scenario? I see Tim shaking his head no. So if that's not the case.
This was the only one that didn't get the requisite score. The other two that I identified, that's the bottom of the list, didn't qualify on their face, and so they weren't even considered for any sort of scoring.
Thank you.
So Michael, can you answer that from a legal standpoint?
I'm
Is
not
there
really
a temporary category that we can add?
There isn't one now. I don't
No, I
really
know
know if I don't know if I fully understand the question as far as the use of the dollars. The dollars are defined by statute as to what they can be used for. So pandemic notwithstanding, there's a process in place. I think it would require the board to amend the elite event funding guidelines to create this temporary kind of category that I'm not really sure what it accomplishes.
Well, okay. Based
offer
on what Mayor Kreisman was saying, that this is supporting local businesses. It always attracts some level of tourism, which is what we're here to do. Okay. But it's supporting local businesses. And I want to know if that can be the main reason we are.
No. Legally, no. Based on purely that position, no.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking these questions is that, because I understand what he's saying. I do. And I mean, I scored enough for it to get money, but others didn't. But I also want to be fair to the applicants who applied. There are a lot of other people that would have applied if they knew they could get money based on that, is what I'm trying to say. So
right.
That's why I'm asking these questions. So I'll stop asking now.
One thing I would like to add, just from a budget standpoint, going forward in FY21, the budget for the elite event funding was taken down to 1 million. Currently, right now, without consideration of Localtopia, the aggregate amount of the funding request is $975,000. If you added Localtopia, we would be right at that $1 million. In terms of maximum funding. Again, these are all up to funding requests that come back to us as staff and we negotiate. But just to give you some context of the funding budget.
And if I could jump in real quick, just to be clear, Mayor Bujalski, I understand Mayor Kreisman's position, and the way to possibly advance Localtopia would be to have a motion that would recommend that even though they didn't score the requisite 700 at the funding committee level, that this board collectively discussed it and thought that the event merited further consideration, and they could have the BCC waive that guideline. That way you don't have to recreate or amend the guidelines, you could just have that requisite score amount waived by the BCC as to Localtopia in this instance.
Right. And I would have a problem with creating a whole new category, particularly just for local events when we're really talking about tourism and bed tax. So,
Yeah.
Mayor
That's why I
Kennedy.
asked to put it out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I
Mayor
wasn't
Kennedy?
proposing that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to acknowledge that there were members that did give the 700 or over
Right.
scoring for Utopia. So it wasn't like none of us voted for them to get the funding as, for small business. I just want to acknowledge that. It wasn't like all of us did not vote, that we all voted against it.
Madam Chair.
And they did meet the basic criteria for this category. So
Correct.
it's not like.
Yes.
Madam Chair, if I could, I was actually one of the people who scored fairly low on this. And the reason, when you look at everything, when you put 0 in the category of room attendance, which in initial phases, if I were to take that out and just give them the full points for the 200, which in retrospect and hearing everything, I probably should have, that would give them an additional 150 points. If room nights is not in consideration whatsoever, I should have allotted them 200 points in that category, which I did not. As you will see on my score sheet, I allotted them 50 points, which the 150 additional points, is it enough to get them to the 700?
And the room nights is not a consideration in that category. It's purely attendance.
Correct.
Correct. So if I were to give them the 200, which hearing everything, and I apologize if there's an apology necessary, but in evaluating it for what it is, giving them the full 200 points, that does give them the additional 150 points in if that is enough to get them over, I don't know.
So is there a way for Tricia to change her scoring at this stage?
I think that given the fact that it was clearly a mistake that Ms. Rodriguez is now acknowledging that affected her score, which affected obviously their advancement, I think it's appropriate to correct it now since we're doing it at a public meeting anyway, and it correlates with her scoring sheet that it was clearly an error based on her interpretation. So I think if that gets them to the 700, then the issue becomes moot as far as any kind of waiver request from the board. So I think it would be appropriate.
I would ask permission that my score be changed.
Okay.
Based
Actually,
on
I
our
think when you average it, it still doesn't come to 700, but
yes, I think it comes to 635 still with that 150 added. Yep.
yeah. Yes, Russ.
Michael, I think you suggested that we could do an amendment to have that reconsidered. And I'd like to make that motion, especially knowing that Enchantment has dropped out and took us below the $1 million, that there's a consideration that could be used that money towards that. And I'd make that a motion that we amend this.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, well, let's take that up then at this point. Do we do this first before we vote on the main? We don't have a main motion. It was withdrawn. Never mind. Okay, we have a motion to amend the recommended list from Mr. Kimball and seconded by Mayor Kennedy. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Thank you. I believe that's yes, thank you.
Madam Chairman, I'm just going to go on the record and abstain from the vote due to a conflict with the Valspar Championship.
Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, then we need a motion to recommend the entire list.
I make a motion again to recommend the entire elite list.
I'll second.
Who was that?
Chuck Prather.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Chair, can I
I think
suggest that
Tony
that
has a question and Russ.
Yes.
I would just say if that motion is moving forward, I would suggest to clarify that it includes the request for the BCC to waive the minimum scoring requirement as to Localtopia?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Satterfield.
Tony, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Just a comment. I'm not going to ask for a revote or recalculation or anything, but I have heartburn over Gasparilla Bowl requesting and getting $25,000 when the city of Tampa is only giving $20,000. I think that should be considered, as Mr. Ramsberger said, it's an up to amount. I really question their ability to produce in Pinellas County with the bowl game actually going on at Raymond James Stadium. So I think we should consider how much we give them based upon what Tampa and their Convention and Visitors Bureau is giving them. Thank you.
I would go along with that. Yes, Russ.
Before I vote, I'd like to say that I am a member of Pelican Golf Club also, and not on any board or anything like that. And that I have been a member of the Copperheads for the Valspar, and not on any board or any committee or anything.
Okay. Any other comments before we vote? All right. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. I believe we have unanimous with with one abstention. Okay. Thank you. Next issue. I'll find it soon.
Madam Chair, may I make a comment while we just have all of our elite events on? I just wanted to say that for those elite events, folks that are on, this has nothing to do with elite funding. It's just an opportunity to share with you that you really lead in best practices for events. And especially during these times when single-use plastics are used, let's just try to remember our ocean-friendly practices. And especially during these times, the products that we use matter. So let's just protect our beautiful land. Let's protect the animals that live in it. And if you have any questions, certainly we have resources. Oceanallies.org is a resource to you. But you really are leaders when it comes to events, especially elite events in Pinellas County. So let's use our best ocean-friendly practices.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next up is a marketing update, Leroy.
Yes, good morning, board members. I believe Katie is going to join me with tag teaming presentation here momentarily. I'm going to share my screen. It looks like Katie has fired up her camera as well. As many of you know, we've been hard at work over the last month, 6 weeks or so. Let me share that presentation. That should be coming through, maybe. Anybody seeing that? Black screen like everybody else?
Yes.
Yep.
Thought it was me.
Let's try this one more time here. The technology guy struggling with technology. Everybody can laugh at this, right? So just how it goes. Had it fully loaded and everything beforehand. Katie, you want to set us up here while I get this loaded?
Well, they were going to run through some latest research that we have, and we're going to touch base on some of the programs that we have currently running, some of the advertising, and then excited to share with you our Visiting Safely and Responsibly campaign. We presented the idea to you at the July TDC, and today we'd like to share with you some of the creative and how we look to execute the campaign.
All right, I think we're cooking with gas now. Again, good morning, Marketing Touch Base. We have shared so much research over the past 2+ months. I actually pulled that piece out of this deck. A lot of it is very same. A lot of it's very similar. The trends are plateauing. There's still a lot of challenges when it comes to marketing and the sentiment of travelers. But because we've spent so much time on that, we want to focus on looking forward and moving the destination and trying to really make sure our industry is moving in a positive direction as we roll into the slowest part of the year. We realize September through November, it is a difficult time of year for travel and tourism. So this is what we're going to touch on. We did want to revisit the current program update. We shared this with you last month, but we didn't include as much finer detail as this includes. Again, happy to answer any questions as it relates to our current marketing activities. We're going to touch very heavily on the Visiting Safely and Responsibly campaign, but it's important to note that's not the only marketing we'll have running. We have been marketing for quite some time with a please visit responsibly message. You can see just a mock-up of, or it's not a mock-up, that's an actual screenshot of an ad. These are the digital programs we have running, and specifically including more details around spend and performance in this deck. You'll recall last month we did touch on some of these efforts, but we didn't include the level of granularity and specificity. I will note the June SEM highlights photo you see there. That is just a direct screenshot from the digital department report that I produce every month. We detail down to the penny what we spend based on what efforts and the success rates we're seeing. June was a really good month. July was a little bit of a slower month as it relates to conversions with paid search. Part of that is because of the trending from the health crisis. So you can see paid search has been running since May 11th. Steve mentioned in the finance recap that obviously during April we weren't marketing because there was a massive shutdown. So we did wait till the second week of May to fire up a lot of these efforts. So you'll see that date is early to mid-May is a commonality. So paid search efforts as well as YouTube. YouTube is a massive presence for us. Our presence on YouTube outperforms many broadcast programs that other destinations build. It is a very, very successful channel for us, driving inspiration and reaching those who are searching for our type of content. That's important to note. With all of these efforts, they're highly targeted. They're reaching those who are actively searching to travel or looking for outdoor activity. Facebook, again, you can see the performance and the spend there. On the display side, we are running what I would consider truly, higher funnel activity, but still highly targeted, and higher funnel just because it's a little bit more broad-based, a little bit more passive. So Conversant is one of those partners I mentioned previously. This is a powerful partner of ours that uses credit card data, a lot of first-party owned data, to target visitors who we know have actually stepped foot and spent money in Pinellas County in previous years. Important to note with this partner and the next partner, Sojourn, as we move into September, October, November, we are increasing our spends with them as well. You can see the new St. Pete Pier, part of that marketing program. Clearwater Marine Aquarium is also a part of that. The new dolphins and the new habitat that they have. Sojourn is that other partner that we are ramping up spending on. So when you see the Visiting Safely and Responsibly campaign, these efforts will continue to run alongside that. It's not that we're replacing one set of efforts with another. So just want to make that known. So overview of digital program performance since we've kind of relaunched programs in early May. A considerable amount of investment, a considerable amount of performance, and some pretty quality hotel revenue generated through these programs. In addition, wanted to touch on the email programs. We're obviously leveraging our email owned program heavily during this time. It's a free audience, right? Our many teams over the years have done a great job acquiring emails by interacting with customers and engaging with them. So this is a channel that we leverage frequently because it is basically cost free. Katie, you want to touch on some of the traditional side?
Sure. So we're still working with our traditional programs that we have with WESH NBC in Orlando. We have the out-of-home billboards, I-75, that are promoting on the beaches. And then we also continue with our advertising at the St. Pete Clearwater International Airport, Tampa International, and Orlando International. And BVK has done a good job working with each of those airport entities to provide added value with our agreements. And then we did launch with the start of the race season, a half season promotion with them in late July with outfield signage, a home plate rotator that promotes the Visit Responsibly, Race Radio, where the reads will be part of the Visit Responsibly campaign and the messaging that we have. And then also we've been doing advertising with Atlanta Magazine, also our annual programs in the Visit Tampa Bay Visitor's Guide and the Visit Florida Magazine, and we get reader response listings and people that are engaging with us through those. And then also our Gulf to Bay Destination Magazine. So we are continuing to mail the magazine when we get leads requests from the website. And then also we had the program in May and June with the newspaper distribution and insertions.
So really what we're excited to really dive into and spend some time on today, as we've been working very closely with our chambers and our municipalities over the last month, 6 weeks, to take what was kind of a kernel of an idea in the last meeting we had with you all and grow that into something that our partners were a huge part of and were going to help us stand up and support. And I will tell you, it's been a very exciting process, a lot of great feedback and participation and partnership with our municipalities and our chambers of commerce. You guys know the situation. Travelers are rethinking plans. There's a lot of lack of consumer confidence, but yet at the same time, people want to know what we're doing locally. What are we doing to help ensure that their experience here is safe and responsible? So really the purpose of this campaign, again, these are items we've touched on with you previously, but benefiting this full group, not just, tourism and visitors, but also the local communities as well and the business owners. So with that, the creative, I want to dive into, where we've gone and how this was born out of. We wanted to be, on brand, vibrant, uplifting, but we also wanted to make sure that we were reinforcing the health and safety message. And that was something in communicating a lot with our chambers and municipalities is super important that we heard loud and clear. They need help. Our partners, our business owners need help communicating. You need to have a mask on and different items like that. So we wanted to make sure that we were weaving that in to this effort and not just being bright and fun, but this is a serious topic as well. And you'll notice that this is an extension of Brighter Days Ahead. Brighter Days Ahead was our bridge campaign that we launched during a time which nobody really knew what was next during the shutdown. So this is where we're at. This is the platform, Rise to Shine. This year has brought a lot of losses, triumphs, ups, downs, and twists and turns we didn't expect. And while it'd be easy to become defeated, there's always an opportunity for something else, something brighter, better, and sweeter. But to see our day in the sun, we have to earn it, work for it, adjust to it, and navigate our way through the change. To see that, some small shifts in how we move through the world now can mean big rewards in the future. Because in order to shine, we first must rise. So this is the mantra. This is the anthem that this campaign was born out of, our Visiting Safely and Responsibly campaign. And the response from industry to these words has been overwhelmingly positive, inspirational, motivational, and we feel like gives the entire destination, not Visit St. Pete Clearwater, not Pinellas County, but Dunedin and Gulfport and Pasadena and St. Pete and St. Pete Beach, every community and every business that we touch that is in this county, something really important to hold on to and stand up behind in a unified way. This is what it looks like come to life. This is, again, one of many iterations as kind of batted around internally, but also externally. A handful of calls with, as I talked about, our partners, chambers and municipalities. You can see this is a poster. Obviously, not every element that we'll be rolling out and creating will be this large or this detailed, but this is a poster view that we're going to be printing and giving to businesses You can see it's vibrant. It brings our brand, the punch of the brand, but it's very clear what this message is. The message is spread out and mask up. You can see Rise to Shine, the moniker there as well. Important to note, this is one of 3 versions we're creating. We understand that not every community in our county is a beach community. This is the beach scene. We are also creating a water scene. Water touches just about every community we have. There'll be a water scene and then a St. Pete Pier scene as well. So 3 varieties. The hope being that all of our businesses, again, not just businesses that touch tourism, but our hair salons and our Publix can embrace this message and this anthem to Rise to Shine. We know that masks aren't required outdoors. This is an illustration to send that strong message about what the expectations are. We understand it's not part of the county ordinance, but again, it's an illustration. So we've taken some liberties there. Some of the early iterations, you would have seen masks on the sea turtles. We went that far. Obviously playing a little fun with it and really trying to send that message. We know that pollution is a problem. We decided to pull that back a little bit because of that. So again, trying to be warm and inviting with this message, but also very clear with what that message is. This is an example of an in-market billboard with that same message. You can see it's dialed back a little bit in terms of the amount of people and whatnot, but a very clear message, spread out, mask up as well there. We envision these buttons for frontline staff. We have heard so often from our industry partners of how much negativity and abuse our frontline staff has taken during this time. And what a better, can't think of a better positive message than Rise to Shine to hopefully equip our frontline staff with, to bring that positive message directly to the customer without having to say a single word. Katie, I'm going to turn it over to you. You want to touch on some of the production and really, again, seeing some of the ways that this campaign is going to be brought to life.
Sure, and a big part of that is the in-market. So like Larry mentioned, the posters and things that businesses can have to communicate the message. So we are in the process right now of developing and getting produced materials that we can provide to all of our partners. That's from posters to yard signs to restroom mirror decals, table cleanings, rat cards, buttons, face masks. And also looking at working with our Dolphin Trail program to equip all of the dolphins on the trail with face masks. So we are also working with our chamber partners, providing them with signage, hand sanitizer, display posters, again, the same materials for in our chamber businesses. And then we've also had some great conversations with Clearwater Beach Pier 60, Johns Pass, and the St. Pete Pier about having them as kind of our locations with higher concentration of visitors and people there, with additional materials promoting, such as those Falcon flags, Coroplast wind signs, stand-up stations, hand sanitizer wipes. Again, so they offering their space up and their ability to put out the wind signs and the flags and refill the hand sanitizer. And all we're doing is just providing that materials in market. And then also working with Jeff and Michelle over at St. Pete Clearwater International Airport to give them messaging directly to our visitors that are flying in, letting them know what is expected of them when they're here in the destination. And so that's from floor signs, wall signs, terminal seat covers. Corinne on our team has been awesome, and she's helped with a lot of the meetings that we've had with some of these hub partners in our chambers and our municipalities, and she's also had communication with the rental car companies at PIE, and we're providing them with some travel safely kits, so their visitors checking in that they understand what's required here in the destination. And then from a traditional paid media, we also have a plan in place for that. So updating our creative at the St. Pete Clearwater and Tampa International Airport, our baggage claim videos there with the messaging. Also updating our signage that we have at the I-75 and I-95 Visit Florida Welcome Centers. updating our TV spots on West Orlando, and also a radio by Tampa St. Pete and Orlando, the billboards that we have, and then also working really closely with PSTA. They have a great asset there in the buses, and that helps communicate to locals and visitors what as a destination that we are here, and we want to rise to shine and communicate what we're doing as a community to stop spread and what we're asking of our visitors.
Yeah, thanks for that, Katie. I think it's important to note, I mean, I think an obvious question and where people go is, well, you know, the mask mandate may not be around forever. And you know, obviously we don't know that. We don't know the end duration on this, but we know that this campaign and this message is important. When we're in this situation, however long that is, we know that masking up and spreading out is going to be vital. And so we feel confident that really, obviously we've got a timeline we're going to share, but confident in this campaign moving forward, question mark on the end date, really. Obviously going to embrace this across our owned media digitally. So wherever you see us, and you can already see, this is a screenshot of our Visit Responsibly Travel Updates page. You can already see we're integrating appropriate photos of people experiencing the destination with masks on, but across all of our owned efforts, you're going to see this campaign come to life. We've already seen it come to life in a different way as well. Our Sunshine Steward video series, I've shared this first version. This was entirely beach focused, helping educate and inform people of how to beach in the new era during this time. We've just rolled out volume 2. It just started hitting social media channels on Monday, already getting some really rave reviews. This round of the series is focused in downtown St. Pete and touches on a number of different items, including treasure hunting tips, which, you know, a lot of people don't think about, but shopping is very different now. You shop with your eyes, not your hands. And so again, trying to communicate not just to visitors, but to locals as well as to how to, you know, interact and experience the destination during these times in a fun, friendly way that only the Sunshine Steward could do. We also feature one that's fun about truly how to wear a mask appropriately. Physical distancing in downtown, and then sanitizing isn't surreal. Highlighting the dolly, and again, what that attraction experience is like. Thank you to Chuck and his team for helping us use the Birchwood and highlight their property in these videos, and all of our partners who have stepped up to help us coordinate filming. On the paid side of digital, you know, between the efforts Katie and the BVK team are putting together, and our team on the digital side, you're not going to be able to go anywhere locally in the Tampa Bay region. And if you're looking for to visit us in Orlando, you're going to be touched by this campaign. There's no doubt about it. Connected TV, you can see a number of those efforts there on the left side. We will be blanketing people. They know that we're open for business, but when you come, these are the expectations we have for visiting, to have that quality experience. Also building, you know, one side, it's not quite as sexy as, you know, some of these efforts, but it's super critical to the success of our local businesses, is leveraging the platforms that exist for free. Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor, 3 places who have all rolled out new filters and categorizing of information during this time. For instance, dining outside. That's something that people are seeking now more than ever. And all 3 of these platforms have changed their search parameters to include that. We did a little test the other day from our house. Within 20 minutes of us, Yelp showed only 7 restaurants with outdoor dining. I can tell you that's categorically wrong. And it's wrong just because businesses haven't had the time to go in and check and update their status, that they have that. That's now become a priority. So we're building a program that's going to work very closely with our businesses, one-to-one, to make sure we're doing a complete audit across all 3 platforms, Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor, so that we can call a business and say, hey, you qualify for a number of these categories. We need to be able to get you in there and get you sorted so that when a visitor or a local is looking for something specific during this COVID time, they can find it and they're not losing business. From a summary perspective, this is what the campaign looks like. Obviously, paid media has a little, has an end period of time. We have efforts that are going to be starting throughout this range, but the majority of it is falling September 1 through December 15th. But we don't see the efforts stopping then, right? That's the paid side of things. Almost a $2 million campaign when all is said and done. Again, reaching Tampa Bay and Orlando. We know based on our data that these two markets are our number 1 and 2 market. They continue to travel and visit in big numbers. And so that's why we're starting locally. That's why we're starting here and in Orlando. Very ambitious, but we're hopeful to engage with 2,000 Pinellas County businesses to amplify this message. Again, we don't see this as a tourism only message. We see this as crossing sectors. We're going to lean heavily on our chambers to help us do that. That's what they do best, is connect across business lines, of course, and collaborate like never before. From a timeline perspective, we are hosting an industry webinar next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Partners who are watching this, or our board, or anybody between now and then, can already opt in today. You just go to visit sbc.com/rise to shine, and you can fill out the form of interest. Our team is going to do one-to-one follow-up to make sure that we get you the assets you need. It's completely free to our partners. We're going to print, we're going to produce all of these assets, and we are going to deliver them as well. So all our partners need to do, again, we would love this to be included in every city newsletter, supported across the board, and we've already gotten a lot of that support from our chambers. But any type of communication, we can provide a little graphic and some verbiage. But the link with the form on it explaining the full program, again, visit sbc.com/rise to shine. We're hoping to begin, we're going to begin collateral delivery the week of the 31st. That's going to be a process as well, not just one day or 1 week. Also looking to organize a local media event with hopefully some of you on this board to help support the promotion of this locally, to spread the word. With the paid media beginning the following week, and then the Google My Business, Yelp, and TripAdvisor program kind of gaining some real steam and getting going mid-September. Also, one quick note before we wrap and maybe take questions or move on in the meeting. I did want to touch on this. I know Pinellas County is working very diligently on launching, is completely unrelated to the marketing campaign, but important note, launching round 2 of the CARES funding for local businesses. It is a very high priority for the county. It is an ASAP, but the launch date is still TBD, still working through items there. And just wanted to make sure that everybody had that, and the parameters have been widened. I know our economic development team has been doing a lot of diligent work with OMB and with the county commission and administration on this program. So wanted to touch on that before we get out of here. So with that, Katie, thank you. And thank you to our board. We're happy to obviously answer any questions.
All right, questions? Yes, Mayor Bujalski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know our city is really excited about this rollout, so thank you, Leroy. I know our team in our city has been a part of your calls, and so is our chamber, so appreciate that. I just had 2 quick questions for you. The hand sanitizer stations, you had talked about where you plan to put them. What about in other areas? Are they available for, like, for instance, downtown Dunedin at Pioneer Park, because people tend to gather there when they're going to dinner?
Yeah, Katie.
Are those available for other locations?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, definitely send an email with that request, and we will consider that as our budget.
And I think important to note along those lines that we are ordering a lot of these assets in phases, right, based on demand. So we're not going to go out and order hundreds of sanitizer stations, but as requests and budget allows, certainly we would love to be able to outfit all of our main corridors with these, given again the resources.
And are they going to be branded with your Rise to Shine branding on them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Because I somewhere in downtown Dunedin we should have one, I think. My other question is, you talked about advertising this campaign on the Jolly Trolley Clearwater Beach. I was just wondering if you're also doing the North Coastal route.
Yes. Yes, we've talked with Rosemary, and we're looking at multiple trolleys.
Okay, thank you.
Here's just share my screen real quick. I mean, I know it's not a massive spot, but this will be completely outfitted here, this spot for that branding.
Okay.
You can see that.
All right, thank you very much. Great job, guys.
In addition to purchasing the hand sanitizer, we work with a company that does our sunscreen, and so they will also be producing gallon hand sanitizer. That will be providing a starter pack for each of the hand sanitizer stations.
Great. Doreen?
Yes, kind of an in the weeds question, but I know, and I think all of your ideas and implementing all these things are going to be wonderful. I see our frontline staff when we have guests asking about what's required, masks, social distancing, and we're talking with them. There has been many questions about, are masks required on the beach? And, you know, we can certainly tell people that they're not. So, you know, you're distanced and being outdoors is safe. But are we sending a mixed message by showing on all of our promotional materials that those people are on the beach and they're wearing masks? So hopefully that, I like the look and what the message is, but I'm questioning, is there a mixed message?
Yeah, that's certainly a valid point and something we've considered and weighed. I think the challenge becomes obviously depicting our heavily outdoor destination in a way that also depicts masks, which are only indoors. And that becomes a bit of a challenge. I think that's, again, hopefully what leans toward the illustrative approach, which is, you know, illustrations aren't necessarily a representation of reality, right? And so it's a little bit different than you know, just an image showing an image of somebody wearing a mask on the beach. So certainly point well heard, and we will be able to, we can adjust if need be, if we need to go that direction.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Hibbert?
Thank you, Commissioner. I just had a question really for you, Leroy and Katie, and also Steve, if you can chime in. As I look through all the reports and I'm trying to balance where we are today and giving people a lifeline in our industry, in the tourist industry, and then also looking to the future, just philosophically how you're balancing the money that's being spent versus building up dry powder when we have more people visiting. Can you just talk about that? I mean, I think everybody's doing it in their normal businesses. They're trying to figure out budgets. And we already went through the finance committee earlier today. It's not a question I asked, but can you just kind of delve into what's in your brain right now about how much you spend right now when people aren't traveling as much, when some people are heading back to school versus, you know, when we do have some more movement?
Hey, Leroy, can I kick that off and then you guys can shoot me down or take it another direction? And Mayor, that was a great question. So part of it is we look at the research and what's happening out there. And I think one is we got to set the expectation for the visitor that we're a safe destination. And so you've got to have that messaging. I don't think Leroy brought this up, but we also have the agency preparing what would become our next campaign, as if, you know, there's I don't want to say normalcy, but the next phase based on people wanting to travel. And there's a whole other element to that part where we can get a little more aggressive in our messaging and in our markets. So, and we could literally, once that's done, it sits there and goes. We can look at different criteria, press the button, boom, it goes out. The other aspect is, and Leroy and his team and Katie and her team working with the agencies collaboratively are doing a great job of looking at everything and collaborating, but looking at what we can send out today to those who are in the framework of traveling. So, you know, as an example, if I've got kids and I'm a little unsure of travel right now, we may not be targeting them, but targeting, let's say couples or empty nesters that are going to look at doing that. So, but again, we want to be able to kind of layer campaigns together. I think one of the things is Leroy talked about Rise to Shine. I think that's going to be an underlying campaign for a while to keep the expectation for visitors about visiting here. And then we can layer in our next campaign, I think, at that given point in time when we want to start running that creative. So Leroy Cater, if you want to jump off from there.
Yeah, a couple thoughts. One is it's incredible to look at the research, and I know it may not feel this way, but when you look at the traveler sentiment research, the acceptance of masks and the acceptance of communicating what you're doing as a destination has grown tremendously from the beginning of this. And again, I know it still can be a divisive issue, but the reality is those who are looking, who deem themselves as travelers have moved to a place that this is a requirement of sorts. And so we feel like we've got to move in this direction and feel confident in this direction before we're able to really go out in a big way with our gunpowder. The other challenge is, to be honest with you, we would have long presented, fiscal 21 full year marketing plans with you all. And the reality is we obviously we can't do that. It's because everything is touch and go. And so trying to an eye on the future, but also that short-term planning, it's hard to completely say, well, we're just going to keep waiting and looking, farther down the line when we know there's some opportunity here. And the opportunity is you can travel safely and visit St. Pete Clearwater responsibly right now. We are a destination built for this moment, frankly.
Okay. Any other
Thank you.
questions, comments? All right, then. Next on the agenda is department reports. Is that?
Yeah, that's all online. Hopefully you've all had a chance to click through on that part.
And then it's your report, Steve.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And if I really appreciate what the staff is doing. You didn't hear from some other folks and what they're doing in terms of the development of business. And I did want to recognize on the sales side some unique things. As I mentioned, they're not out traveling because the shows aren't happening, but they're now moving into a virtual world. So how we sell virtually and how we position the destination virtually, both for someone to see what we have to offer, but also to have an appointment with them is a brand new environment. And we're, again, creating all the tools and the things necessary to go through and make that happen. Interestingly enough, we had a call yesterday with some of the hotels, not yesterday, last week, that were more meeting oriented. Because again, that part of our industry is extremely decimated because people are really totally unsure of where to go in terms of the meetings. And in there, we're looking at things we can do to help the customer say yes, especially given the pandemic and the different guidances that are out there. The other element as well, and we asked about this correlation, and I'm sure some members on this board would probably agree, but they see a direct correlation between Florida being at the top of the news for being a COVID hot zone and phone calls. And as our name goes down and we're perceived as more safe, phone calls go up if the reverse happens. So that again goes back to that Rise to Shine message and being able to get that out. The other part is that expectation. And I think part of it is that we're able to go through and set the expectation for the visitor that this is the kind of destination we have, but also set the expectation with the locals that we expect our visitors to also abide by the guidelines, of our destination. So it's really is a two-way circle to benefit everybody. All right, Madam Chair, I am going to once again attempt bravely to share my screen. And I just have a couple of slides to go over. Okay. And here we go. All right, the first is the tourism economics snapshot. And first on the list, let me get off of this. All right, we're looking at, and again, I'm not going to go through every page by detail, but if you look at our hotel data provided by STR, looks at these are actually for June of 2020, not August of 19 and 20. But for the June, we were down almost 30% room nights sold. Average daily rate was down 8. Revenue per available room was down 35%. I think when you look at this and what's happening in the rest of the state, you'll go through and see that, I mean, we're doing pretty well compared to rest of various other locations in the state. I will point out up in Northwest Florida, this is the height of their season. And so they're expecting to do well, especially given the COVID crisis. I did talk with their CEO up in Palm Beach, not Palm Beach, but Panama City Beach, and just how things were going there. But they're looking for a backslide after the summer. Let me go to the next slide. All right, and then year to date, when you look at room nights sold, ADR, and RevPAR, it pretty much equals what you saw for the month of June. Tourist development tax collections. On this one, this shows for June what the number is. You can see what we were in previous years. You see that drop being down 25%. And then this is where we are fiscal year to date. So again, you see going through, this is from a July one, but you can see February being our last really good month, and then the drop in March, and then the complete drop in April, and then the slow climb back. I also like to visually look at things like this. So you can, again, black line being fiscal year 20, you can see the climb, you can see the positive variance over the previous years, and then the precipitous drop for March and then April, and the climb back up. If we look at, if we go by what forecasts that we're thinking will happen, this will mirror this a little bit, but it's going to be a little bit below this line here for fiscal year 20. One of the things I did want to bring up, and we looked at this on from the TDT collections. One of the things that I think has helped in return to the market again is vacation rentals, because if you look at the numbers for June, they were flat in room nights sold, but rate was up, but it was still better than the hotel side. And if you look at year to date, basically flat on sold, but again, just a little bit up in ADR. And they did not open until Memorial Day. So really they were out of the equation for the most part in May, but full board in the month of June. Questions on that data? All right, not seeing any. A couple of things I did want to bring up. Thank you, Lee, for bringing up CARES and what is happening at the county level. I want to bring out the fact and let this body know that we had 6 staff members working with economic development to look at the grants that were going through for small business. And so they were away from doing their duties with us, but helping with that. But we think that's extremely important. because of the fact that it was helping small business, and many of those were tourism related. I also wanted to bring up that we have staff working with the county as well and Creative Pinellas related to arts grants that are available, and looking at their policies and going through and doing that. So again, we're helping out in these various areas because again, it helps out local businesses in the community, which also helps out tourism. Also wanted to bring up, this one is under CARES, but it's at a national level. There is funding that is potentially available through Economic Development Association. And on this one, working as a region, 4 counties are applying for $1.25 million that can be used for a recovery message. And the 4 counties will be ourselves, Pasco, Hillsborough, and Manatee County. And so we're in the process of applying for that to go through and see if we can get that money and then get some messaging out from there. Madam Chair, I also wanted to bring up and recognize members of our staff who worked yesterday for the primary elections. Again, with the pandemic and supervisor election really needed help. We had 7 staff members or 8 staff members step up to make that happen. Terry, Daryl, Jill, Jimmy, Michelle, Jeffrey, and Justin all participated in some variety. And it was good to see that. I will admit I was one of those as well. This was like a process I've never been through before. So, but it does make you realize how important this process is to our governance as a local community, but also a state and a government. And the 8 of us will be working again for the national election in November.
Well, Steve, before you go on, I just wanted to say thank you for that. We have, I think, 183 county employees filling slots as poll workers for the upcoming election. I think that's just amazing. You know, the election would be in big trouble if we didn't have county employees doing that. So thank you again, Steve.
Well, again, I'm just glad staff went and signed up for it and to be part of it. You know what? It wasn't, well, I'm starting to say it wasn't that hard, but getting up at 4 a.m. yeah. But again, it's very important to the overall process, and glad we were part of it. I also just wanted to go through, and this is the crisis plan for Visit St. Pete Clearwater, our communication plan. That we will be emailing to everybody if it has not been done so already. We wanted to make sure that you have a copy of that. Knock on wood, not that we need it anytime soon. And the winds stay to the east of us by a lot. But again, just to make you guys aware of all of those things. So,
Steve, I also have them prepared to mail them out.
Good. Awesome.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, that is all that I have.
Okay. Well, do we have any general comments from the board? Questions? Anything you want to talk about? Because, yes, Chuck.
Chuck, you're muted. Chuck?
Yeah, you're muted. Yeah.
I'll try this again. Okay. I think it's an extremely challenging time for the staff at Visit St. Pete Clearwater to deal with a budget that arguably might end up being about $19 million short in revenue. They have taken the message and reworked that strategy, reworked that message countless hours, I'm sure, to change the message. And also Steve and his team have worked on keeping this in balance, like I said, missing about $19 million. So between the expenses and all those categories, I know I'm appreciative of all that hard work. So Katie, Leroy, Steve, the whole team, thank you very much.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? Okay, then we are adjourned.
Thank you.
all.
Bye, everybody.